Hi there, Plant Girl here. Welcome to December. Boy, oh boy, this year has gone fast. So I'm here with you again today to bring you a few more gift ideas that I think would be great for the gardener. So these are ideas that you can give to that gardener on your list, or maybe to all those people who keep asking you, the gardener, what you want for Christmas. These are simple things that I think people could find fairly easily still in this at this point in the month here. So let's get into it. I think one of the most essential tools to have as a gardener is a great method of storing your seeds somewhere that's going to keep them out of the reach of mice or bugs or any other things that might want to get into them and nibble on them. Maybe you have pets in their house or wherever you store your seeds. And somewhere that's going to keep them organized and that you can easily grab and take with you. Sometimes I just take my seeds, my whole bucket out with me to the garden. I'm sure I'll be taking them with me out to my greenhouse this year. I've tried over the years a lot of different storage methods, and this is what I like the best. So what is it? If you haven't seen one of these before, it's actually a photo storage case. And a lot of gardeners use these to store their seeds because they work so well for most cases. So it has a really good hook here. This is not coming open. I can lift it by the lid. It's not coming apart. Has a good handle. So I can carry it around and I feel secure. And then I can open it up. I actually use this lid space a lot for just throwing things over now. Ignore the mess. It doesn't look this messy normally, but I'm actually getting prepared for some other videos in the coming weeks about the seeds that I'm growing, and so I've kind of been setting things out a little bit for my new seeds. I haven't put my new seeds in with my old seeds yet. But what I really like about this is they have these little cases inside. So I have these cases divided into different categories. So this one is beans, and I actually have 2 cases for beans because most years I grow a lot of beans and sometimes they come in bigger packages. So you can see most seed packages will fit into this. I have a variety of different brands here. And I even have an envelope with my own saved seed in it. And then you can see here, because it's all in one case, I can keep some notes here. I have some different notes about the days to maturity on my cabbage. And this could be right in the case, but I've obviously pulled it out for some reason at some point. And it's just sitting here loose in the package. And I usually have a few seed tags in here as well. I really think it's a great case and something that's very handy to have. So I will leave a link below. I got this on Amazon. I think you can also get them at some craft stores like Michael's, I think, carries them. And you have to watch the prices between the two because sometimes they're way cheaper on Amazon, sometimes they're way cheaper at the craft stores, and you just have to kind of pay attention. But they're definitely worth spending a bit of money on. They're good, heavy-duty case. Don't cheap out on the lower quality ones. Get a good one. And you can get them with colored, those little files that are inside, you can get them with colors as well as the case can be colored. So really you can express your style or the style of the person you're giving it to with one of these. Another thing that I think most gardeners would really appreciate and really use a lot in their gardening that we might not think of is a remote thermometer system. I'm obsessed with temperature, and I don't think I'm alone in that. Gardeners want to know how warm or cold it is out by their crops. They want to know how warm or cold it is where they have their seedlings. Maybe it's in a little grow room with grow lights on it. Maybe it's in a greenhouse. Maybe it's under a little tunnel out in their garden, but they want to know the temperature. And so I love these for that reason. This is a smaller one that I have. This is the first one that I bought for myself. It just has one remote sensor and then the main panel. So you get the temperature of the sensor on here, which is the top one. And you also get the temperature of wherever this main unit is. So then this particular one, and I would think anything that you purchase you'd want to look for is one that keeps the high and low temperatures for at least 24 hours, because it's really something that a gardener wants to know. So this one tells me that the remote sensor, the lowest it's been in the last 24 hours is 3 degrees. And that's because it's normally in a refrigerator with my tulip bulbs. So I've just taken it out for the video. So right now they're both at 19, but 3 is how low this part was getting until I pulled it out of the fridge. Another thing that's nice to look for with these units is a way to hang them, so that if you're putting it somewhere like out in a low tunnel or somewhere where it might get damp if it's sitting on the ground, you can find a way to hang this. So this one has a little hook that you could put a screw or a nail in and slide it into, or it has this little loop part here that you could put a string through and hang it. Very handy. I also have a unit which I've upgraded to in the past year that has 3 sensors. They're a little bit smaller than this, and I keep one just outside on my patio. I keep one in my greenhouse, and I have one in my shed, and I can easily move them around. They're all displayed on the unit, so I know which one is which. It's easily clearly labeled, and I know exactly what the temperature is in all those areas, and it really helps me to have a good idea of the parts of my yard. So a remote thermometer is a great thing for a gardener. Something else that I love as a gardener, because I'm obsessed with it, is composting. And to make the best compost, it's very handy to have a thermometer. Now, this isn't a necessity to have a compost thermometer, but when you're making hot compost especially, it's really nice to know when you've hit that sweet spot of the hot compost. And so this thermometer actually has markings on it, so you know when your compost is getting warm, when it's actually actively composting, and when it's in that hot compost zone. And you can regulate those temperatures, because you don't want it to get beyond that hot compost zone, but it's nice to keep it in there when you're doing hot compost. Now, even if you don't hot compost, it's nice to know that it's working, and it's nice, especially in cold climates like Saskatchewan, Canada, where I live, it's great to know when your compost is warmed up in the spring, or when it's gotten too cold in the fall and there's really not a whole lot happening in there. And with a thermometer, I bet you'd be surprised at how fast these things warm up in the spring and how long they go in the fall most years. So a compost thermometer is a great thing. Something I use this for as well, besides just my compost, is checking my soil temperature. A lot of seeds can be sown when the soil is still fairly cool, but you need to know that it's not too cold. And some seeds need the soil to be quite warm before you sow them. So having a way to check the soil temperature down at the depth where I'm going to be planting my seeds is a great thing. Now, you can do the hand test with both your compost and your garden soil, but this just makes it all that much more accurate. So again, I purchased this on Amazon. I'm sure you can get them elsewhere. The same with the thermometer, actually. It was from Amazon. So I will leave links to these products. So some other things that I don't have right here with me is garden tunnels. Now, I mentioned before, lots of times I like to keep my thermometer in a garden tunnel. Garden tunnels can come in a variety of different things. You can get tunnels that have mesh to keep bugs and critters out, keep your pets from crawling through your newly seeded plants. Keep bunnies from getting into your lettuce, whatnot. They can come with a frost blanket over them, which just helps to protect them and give them a couple of extra degrees of warmth. They can come with plastic over them, which can help to heat them up and get them a little bit warmer during the day. If you're trying to grow some really hot crops, you might want to heat them up a little bit more during the day. Or I like to use plastic covers to heat the soil up in the spring, because then if you have that sun radiating during the day, even if it's getting cold at night, that heat mass, the thermal mass is building in that soil over the day, and it's just staying a little bit warmer every day, as long as you have some good sunshine. And you can often get your seeds planted out early as long as you keep it covered after you've seeded. I have several of these tunnels, and I have a couple that I really like. I've purchased them from Amazon. I believe they are still available. They come with handy carrying cases. My favorite are the ones that are netted, because that's something that's very beneficial to me trying to keep flea beetles off of my brassicas. So I really like them for things like that. And they also just keep other creatures out of my garden. They're really easy to set up and take down, and they come with storage bags. And I also have a little tunnel. I don't know if it's available anymore. That is just like kind of a plastic hoop that has ventilated windows, and it has big doors that open on the other side. And I really like that as well, and I use it a lot. Another thing that was actually brought to my attention by a viewer after my last video about great gifts is an apron for in the garden. I totally didn't even think of that because I personally am not an apron person, but I know a lot of you are. And there is one type of apron that I have been thinking more and more I need to get is the harvest aprons, where they have a big pocket in the front that's more for if you're harvesting lots of things, you just fill it up right in that pocket and carry it in. And a lot of them have little strings or buttons, snaps on the sides that then you can open it up and just dump everything out onto your counter or into your sink or wherever you're taking your harvest. So the reason this viewer stated an apron was because she's getting a little less steady on her feet. And so she doesn't like to have her hands full of things when she's moving through her garden space because she wants her hands free. So somewhere to put her tools, her seed packs, or things that she's harvested so that she can easily move through her garden space and have her hands free in case she gets a little unsteady and needs to, steady herself. And I thought that was just a great point and one that I thought was worth mentioning in this video. So, especially if you know a gardener who is a little bit less steady on their feet, or maybe, even just their hands, they have, maybe arthritis in their hands or something too. Sometimes just carrying all that stuff around can get pretty cumbersome. I know, in fact, I have dropped secateurs on my foot, and I'll tell you, they take a gouge out of your foot. So having somewhere to carry things really isn't a bad idea. So I think either the harvest apron or just one that has tool storage in it would be great for a lot of gardeners. On that same kind of harvest apron kind of note, I think harvest baskets are a hot commodity that gardeners love to have. So I know I am always looking when I'm in thrift stores. I am on the lookout for good quality, strong baskets. And people ask me where I get my harvest baskets. That's where I get a lot of them, is at the thrift store. You can also pick up really nice baskets at the dollar stores or IKEA. I just purchased one at IKEA. And what I look for with a harvest basket is something that's sturdy, that has a good handle that I can easily put my hands in even with gloves on, and that has holes in the sides or the bottom, somewhere to drain so that I can take it. Now, maybe not so much with like my like rattan, I think that's what it would be called, like the baskets. But with anything that's plastic or metal, I want holes in it so I can just take it to the hose and just spray the stuff down that's in it if I need to and let it drain out. Or if I'm harvesting things that need good air circulation so that they don't mature too quickly, and maybe I'm just going to harvest it and just stick it inside in a cool place, but I want the air to circulate around it, then those holes are also handy for that as well. So I think a harvest basket is a great idea. I actually need a few more. Broke a couple this year. So anyone has some good harvest baskets they want to put under the tree for me, I'll enjoy them. Things that I've received in past Christmases, and I've been so happy to get them. And it might seem kind of silly, but garden forks and shovels. Those are tools that add up. And if you're buying them all for yourself, that's less money for seeds and plants. So if someone else can buy you those tools, then it goes a long way towards you getting more plants in the ground. So gardeners love to be able to get things like that. So pay attention to the gardener in your life. And if you've noticed that they're complaining about their shovel or their fork, or they don't have a good shovel or fork, see if you can find a good quality one. Now, shovels that I really like are spades that have kind of a flat part on top so that you can put your foot on and not hurt the bottom of your foot, because a lot of them are just a really sharp edge at the top. So when you're stepping on it, it's just like cranking into your foot. Whereas if you have one that has a little bit of a flat surface to step on, you can get a really good push on that shovel, and you can get a really good hole dug quite easily. I also like them to have a good strong handle on them. Some people prefer the D handle, and it can be really, really nice to have. I'm also good with just a good straight handle on mine. It is nice to have a little bit of padding on the handle. The good quality fiberglass handles are really nice, but they can get a little spendy. A good strong wooden handle is also nice. Just look and make sure that it attaches right down into the actual working part of the tool that you're buying. Now, when it comes to forks for the garden, if the gardener in your life is a no-dig gardener, then a broad fork would be a great idea. These are forks, they have really fine tines that are fairly widely spaced, and they dig them down into the ground, and they just move them back, wiggle them back and forth just to loosen up the soil, to get some aeration in the soil, help water and microorganisms move through the soil, but they're not actually digging and turning the soil over with them. So a broad fork is a great thing. If you're a gardener like me that doesn't mind turning the soil over once in a while, but is more concerned with turning up your compost, digging compost out of your bin, moving manure and leaves and compost and soil and all sorts of things around your garden, then just a good regular garden fork is nice. And for those, I do really like the D handle, though I have one that's broken off. It's snapped about, the handle's only about this long, and I use that too, so not that important to me. But a nice, good quality, again, a good strong handle that when you're doing lots of digging and carrying, it's not going to snap like that one I have, that has good strong forks. They don't have a lot of give in them, and the handle is attached very securely into the working part, the fork part. With the shovel, a special shovel that not every gardener has, but a lot of gardeners would probably like, is a transplant shovel. Now this is a skinnier shovel, and it's good for digging small holes, for putting in like those little bit larger perennials or smaller trees and shrubs. They also work great when you're doing things like digging for irrigation, or if you're putting in like edging bricks. There's all sorts of things. If you just need to, like, if you want to do some framing for a new raised bed and you just want to get some soil moved to the sides, they work really well for that as well. If you're digging a small trench for doing some trench composting, that's a great size. So I think one of those narrow transplanting shovels is also a great gift for a gardener. So I hope that this little list, I think I had about 8 things on this list. I hope this list gave you some inspiration for the gardeners on your list, or like I said, for things that you want yourself. And I will leave links to any of the products that I can find on Amazon for you. If there's things on this list that you would like to receive, maybe you want to share this video with someone in your life to give them some hints. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.